Here we have an interesting quant comparison question that relates to positive and negative numbers and exponents. Well, if quantity A is A plus B plus C all squared, and quantity B is just A squared, B squared, and C squared, the sum of all these three things, then you might start by noticing that because A is negative, this still has to be positive. So we have three positive parts here, and then we have a negative and then two positive parts here, summing to something ultimately still being positive because it's squared. You might incorrectly think that, well, quantity B has to be bigger because there's less kind of cancellation going on. But let's actually prove some results first. So let's just say A is -1, B is 1, and C is 2. In this case, we would have 4 for this result because -1, 1, 0 with 2, here's 4. But then here we'd have 1 plus 1 plus 4 is 6. So quantity B is bigger in this case. But there's an important quant reasoning trick that we need to think about. It's not really a trick, it's just a property. If you take a square and you take half of its length and then make two squares from just the halves of like those two like half lengths, you're going to get something smaller than the square that has twice the length of the other two squares. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is splitting up the squares here is going to be much smaller than growing them together, growing the length of a side, and taking that total sum, or sorry, that total area of a square. So here's the idea. So let's just use bigger numbers here. We'll keep A -1, but if we make B 10, and if we make C 11, what ends up happening is I'm splitting up the B and the C here still. So what I get as this result then is 1 plus 100 plus 121, which is going to be 222. But look what happens here. I'm getting a much bigger number because 10 plus 11 is going to be obviously 21, but only minus 1. It's going to be 20 times 20 on the left part. 20 times 20 is 400. That is going to be much bigger. So the idea is basically if you split up the squares rather than sum up the numbers and then take one square from that, as you get bigger numbers, as you choose bigger numbers, the square will blow up, making the answer D.